Good morning, Jupiter. Thank you so much. And I am so excited to have with me Monique Comfort of the Ocean's Allure, which you can find right down here in Legacy Place. And I'm so happy that she took the time to spend with me because I understand you are running around with a chicken with your head cut off because you've got the boat show.
Absolutely.
Which is in Flagler. So before we get into Ocean's Allure and all things that are Ocean's Allure and that are Monique, because I just learned that all of this jewelry that she does, it's in her boutique. She does by herself in her own workshop, so that's pretty impressive. So we're going to talk about all that as soon as we get back after we watch this. For joining me today.
Thank you.
This is actually pretty exciting for me because you are my first boutique store, and I'm sitting here today because someone had nominated her so to be somebody that I speak to, and this is what this show is all about. Real Talk is about helping other entrepreneurs. I do business consulting, and it's not often that I get to sit with the business owner. I'm usually helping with the business plan. But in this case, especially when I found out all of the things that you did, I'm like, I have to have her on my show. This is crazy.
Thank you.
So first of all, we're going to go back a little ways, not to childhood, but let's take us back to college because you came here from where before going to the University of Miami?
From Northern Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually went to University of Miami for undergrad and grad.
Okay.
And right after that, I went to work for FPL in their corporate finance division.
Okay.
And I ran their finances for about 6 years, and as many people do, I realized that corporate finance just wasn't for me. I just was not having it, and I've always been a huge ocean fanatic.
Okay.
So I wanted to do something in the marine industry. I started working with some artists, a couple that some people might know, Carrie Chen, and I was representing them, and then I started with someone named Larry Rackley.
Okay.
And I was traveling with him, and along the way, I had a pendant that I had gotten in Tonga when I was fishing in Tonga, because as many people know, that is my biggest passion, is fishing and diving. But someone had asked me, they said, do you think you can, it was wood, it was carved, and they said, can you make it out of sterling silver? And I said, well, it can't be rocket science, so I'll figure it out.
Right.
So I ended up talking to Art Samuels, who is now retired but used to own Provident.
Okay.
And he said, there's a guy in Miami that you can go down, take what you have for a mold, and he can kind of like make you a sterling pendant.
And at this point, other than just doing this for yourself, like you really had you're like, okay, I'm just jumping in.
I did. I used to bead stuff as a child.
We all did with like the leather straps and then the double knot at the end.
Exactly. And I loved it. I did a lot of necklaces when I was younger because my mother owned a daycare center and I taught the girls there.
Okay.
But along the way, going down to Miami, I
which must have been a culture shock from Virginia.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I was so used to it once I started doing the jewelry. I was always going down there for the pendants. And I came across this little area known as the Jewelry District.
Oh, boy.
And fell in love with all the pearls and just the different stones, all the really higher end gems.
Okay.
And like the semi-precious stones, but the lapis and apatite and a lot of pearls.
And you were still doing this while you were working?
So no, I left.
Okay,
I left.
So you had left. You were like, I'm out of here. We're done working for the man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just, So
this is while you're trying to figure out what your next step.
Oh yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. I was still representing artists, traveling along with them.
Okay. But see, right there, I want to point out, it was somebody that saw something in you. Right there, that was like, I'm sorry, you made this? Yeah, I'd like one.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always tell people, like, when somebody says something, don't discount it. Don't just be like, oh, no, I shouldn't. Be like, yes, I should.
Well, that's the best feeling I have in the world is when people wear my stuff and love it. It never gets old.
I know.
It just
makes me made that.
Yeah, exactly. When I see people wearing, it's funny though, when I see people wearing stuff that I made 10 years ago, I'm like, take it off. I can redo it.
I can redo it.
Exactly. So
plus the fact that you were able to incorporate diving, that must have been just so fascinating to be down there, and now you're not just looking for things, but you're looking for inspiration.
Exactly. Well, exactly.
And pieces and
It's
stuff.
funny. My sterling silver pendants, I have quite a few of them that were actually cast off of real starfish. I have a sea urchin that I epoxied the sea urchin and cast a real sea urchin. Okay. My signature piece is a double coral piece. But they were all
so the
cast.
ocean was your muse.
Exactly. Yeah. So it really inspired me. And
so how long was that then? Because for anybody out there that's saying, oh my God, okay, so she left the corporate job, she left the comfort of the job. How long of a transition do you think it took you before finally being able to be like?
Oh, a good 10 years.
Wow. Okay, so you're just like Meryl. I had a woman on that did yoga for 10 years and could never get it off the ground. And now her business is totally different business, and she's doing fabulous.
Well, I mean, as anybody would know, it's really hard in the beginning, starting, I was doing shows.
First 5 years, you're losing money.
Oh, yeah. And I was just, this was before I had the store. Right, I was just doing show to show. Boat shows, art shows,
trunk shows, just like bringing all of your jewelry.
Oh yeah, all the local schools and all of that. And so it was just kind of a hard transition, but I loved it, and I developed a huge following, which is because I love my customers, and and
then how did you acquire the following? Was that because back then we didn't have Facebook and stuff?
It was just shows, just going show to show. And
so there's that hustle and grind again, just getting in people's faces and being like, you need to have one of my pieces.
Yeah, and just becoming like good friends with a lot of the locals. And, but then it was funny because that's when I got to the point that I think it was one year I didn't get into Mardi Gras, and I remember I was panicking because I didn't have any shows.
And is this the one in Jupiter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have any shows coming up for a good 5 months, and I had customers asking, "Where are you going to be next? Where are you going to be next?"
Right.
And
because you had no storefront.
No, nothing.
Right.
And there was a little store across the way that used to sell beads, and I would go to him as an emergency, but I became good friends with the owners.
Sure.
And they're the ones who said, "There's a place over there that's been vacant for a while, and they might make you a deal."
Because they need somebody in there because they're losing money. Yeah. So for you, it was perfect real estate at the time.
Yeah, and it was
a win-win for everybody.
And it was December, so I'm thinking if I can get in there.
Oh my God, that's prime time.
And this place has really gone over a huge makeover since then. I think we had hideous carpet. It was a prohibition.
I'll have to try to ask her to find some of the before and after.
Oh, I do. I have
good.
them.
Okay, because people would love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that was something that you did by not being fearful of it, but being in a need.
Yeah.
And saying, you know what, out of my desperation, I'm going to beg, and maybe we could somewhere come in the middle.
Exactly.
And that's how things happen. And again, it's the fact that you had a guy over there that didn't feel threatened by you. Like, oh my God, he's just going to totally take over. It's about community and just about people wanting to grow.
Exactly, and that's what this whole business has really been focused on. Mm-hmm. It's all about our community, and but it was just luck would have it. I was able to get in here December 15th, right before Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
And I told them, you don't have to redo anything. I'll work with what I have.
Sure.
Because there was glasses everywhere, and I went and bought the glass shelves, and my dad and I put them up in the middle.
Them together. Calling all the family members.
Oh yeah, Mom and Dad and I just overnight, and we started just putting all of them up, and we worked with what we had for a long time. And
but sometimes that's almost more humbling.
Yeah.
Because when you know what it's taking to make this dream happen, you appreciate it that much more.
Oh, absolutely.
Than if somebody had just given you a key and said, go run it.
Exactly.
There's blood, sweat, tears. I mean, she's got an entire line here. How long is this wall?
Oh.
It's got to be 50 feet.
Yeah, it's long.
Right?
It's
nothing but gorgeous jewelry that you created yourself.
Yeah, and I love doing that. And people ask me all the time, they say, why don't you hire someone to be there and work with you? Because that's really my zen, my downtime when I can actually sit there and create and make things.
Right.
I love it. So
it's meditation for you.
Yeah, and no, I'm not letting anybody take that away. Because anybody who has a store would know.
Yeah.
There are so many other headaches that go along with owning one.
The business end.
Yeah, the business end.
Sure.
So that's my happiness, and I love doing it.
Well, it's a good thing you brought that up because it makes for a good segue into one of the things that I loved about you from the other show that you were on, which was Johnny Bringo's The Pirate. You had taken a different approach than a lot of people did with COVID. So instead of panicking and saying, okay, no one can come in my store, I guess that means I have to close up. I want you to share what you want to share You know, we don't want too much to be divulged, but what you did to handle a crisis like that, because I think it would be really good for other small businesses to know.
Sure. Well, it was during the lockdown in March, and we realized, like I think everybody else who owns a business, we had to figure out a way to we were still getting shipments.
Right,
so we had to figure out a way to, even though we have a website, we had to get it out there, what we had coming in, but at the same time, we wanted to make it like a little more creative.
Right, because you're not an Amazon, and you don't want to be an Amazon.
Exactly. So. And I happen to have a big tiki hut behind my house that's all open air, outdoor. Okay. So we started with our first tiki time which basically now the whole premise of it is local businesses. We have local businesses, local entrepreneurs, same kind of thing.
Okay.
Come in for about a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour, discuss their business.
Awesome.
But at the same time, they're wearing our stuff. So then we can have like a little talk about what we're wearing, what they're wearing, the new jewelry. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody involved.
I take it a step further. I'd have some really cute girls doing a little runway walk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like as you're talking.
Well, as you know, though, when we're live, because now we're live on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, I've done live.
So it's very...
Anything can go.
Exactly. You don't want to put too much into the mix there.
That's true. That's true.
It's funny because my dog will come sometimes and he'll come wander into the live.
But see, I think people love that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and even like when I used to do the studio down in Boca, they would always want to edit out everything. And I really fought to have some of those bloopers in, because to me, it's like, to be a business owner is one thing, but to be who you are is another.
Yeah, what they see are
and
real.
And people need your personality.
Exactly.
You know, they need to know that Monique's got this awesome dog just hanging out, and this is what she does in the back of her house. And it gives a certain authenticity to you and to what you're creating. And they kind of feel like they know you then.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and that's I think with any business owner, especially with a boutique, one of the hurdles is a lot of times you get word that people feel like it's not approachable, or they don't want to walk in, or things look too expensive. So the more real you can be, I feel like the better. And the fact that we are involving all the community, it really just makes for a more personable and approachable kind of feel.
Right, exactly. And I know one of the things that you did also, which I think is good for any business, is you know, you participated for a lot of years with Blue Water Base.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you know, and that's huge, because I mean that's obviously a win-win for us.
Sure.
But now you're reaching thousands, literally about 5,000 people.
Absolutely.
Over a weekend span.
Yeah.
You know, so I think for everybody, the takeaway is be a part of everything in your community.
100%.
Like don't just be satisfied with, okay, now I have my storefront.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and on that note, we do a lot of events here. A lot of events.
Okay, so you host events here.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Tons.
Awesome.
We do. We did Bush's Wildlife.
Okay. Let's talk about the dogs. You just had some doggies here.
We just had Muddy Paws. MuddyPaws.org.
Okay.
They had.
So what do you do when you do that? Let's give them one example. Like yesterday, you had it for the dogs.
Yeah, and so they brought 2 adorable puppies in.
Okay.
A 3-month-old and another like 2-year-old shepherd mix.
Okay.
And in the store, we have them in here, and so we can play with them. And then we raise money for them and try and get the dogs adopted, and then we give 20% of all of our sales for the day back to them.
Oh God, that's awesome. Because
so
the shelters are suffering too, especially with COVID.
Oh my gosh, 100%. So we actually are able to write them a check today for $1,000, which is really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it, and it gives them exposure, and they are a foster base group, so they're not like Big Dog Ranch, so they rely on being able to go to events with the dogs. The fosters bring the dogs, because other than that, they can't
they
really
need exposure.
Exactly, they can't really
the
meet
dogs,
them.
not the people, but the dogs.
Exactly.
The foster parents. I love to watch that little dodo thing on Instagram, and it's always like a foster fail.
Oh, it makes me cry every time. I don't care. Oh yeah.
But the good news with them is they always have heartwarming stories at the end. So unfortunately, you see this like little frail puppy, and then by the end, it's like this running shepherd that's like 100 pounds.
Yeah. Well, Chip, my little movie star, is from Big Dog Ranch.
Oh, awesome! And what kind of dog is he? We have to give Chip a moment.
He's a little mutt.
Oh, he's a little mutt of everything.
He's a mix. They called him a lab, but he's not a lab.
He's not a lab. Okay.
He's just cute. Even at the event yesterday, it was funny because everybody was like, "Is he?" Nope.
They were asking if he's adopted. Yeah. Well, he was probably so friendly from being around everybody and all of these different events.
Oh yeah,
he's like your little mascot.
He is. He really is. He's amazing. He's so good.
Okay, so wait, now before we get off track, because this is what happens.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Girls just start talking, right?
Dogs.
Good thing there's no wine. Wine and puppies, it's all over.
Exactly.
But I do want to highlight some of the pieces because
Sure.
I actually want to bring this piece up close since we won't be putting it in. But talk about this piece a little bit, and I want you to look into the camera
So this
as
is
I'm kind of
Baroque
talking
pearl
about it.
Here. It's sterling silver clasps in front, and that is Baroque pearl. They're really good quality, A+ quality. And
it's a heavy piece.
Yeah, the pearls are heavy. It's
Yeah,
all
like,
sterling
it's beautiful.
silver, and all of the big pieces I do are one of a kind. I never do exact replicas because it's, I mean, first of all, it's pretty much impossible.
So they're like art pieces.
Yeah. So, yeah, I work a lot with Baroques. I'm addicted to pearls. But another thing I've been doing, which is great, that Shauna, my manager, kind of got me on the track of, you know, the old Tiffany necklaces with the little return to Tiffany?
Yes.
She never wore hers. She brought it in, so I took off the Return to Tiffany medallion and put a big pearl there. And so now I've been doing that for a lot of people, so that it really repurposes what they have, you know. So you have it in, you know, you look through your old pieces, you have something you never wear, and you can bring it in and just kind of give it an update.
Okay, so she just said, if you actually have a piece of jewelry that you haven't been wearing, or maybe one of your pieces from 10 years ago, bring it in.
After the boat show.
After the boat show. Not right now.
After the boat show.
And where can they find you at the boat show?
You're
on Flagler.
We are on Flagler. We are a double booth, 832. Right when you leave the main tent and walk outside, right to the right. You can't miss us. We have a huge flag and lots of music going, and we have a VIP area in the back.
You have a VIP for your boutique. How awesome is that?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Only Palm Beachers. Like, you know, we know how to. We can't do anything without having our own little VIP.
Well, it's pretty much our little Tito's spot. So if you're at the boat show, definitely come on by there because.
Well, if anybody knows, it's long hours.
Yeah.
You know, many a show and they're long hours.
We make it such fun though.
Yeah.
We have a blast.
Okay, now I want to talk about some of the other things that are in the store because obviously we're not walking around and we're not seeing everything that's in the store. But what would you consider if somebody said, describe to me what your store is? Because we've really covered the jewelry. So we know now that these are all custom Monique pieces. There's not a single piece that's alike. So that in itself, I think, needs to just have its moment. Okay. But I'm standing here and I mean, you've got so much other stuff. So how would you describe this to somebody that's...
I mean, we really have a lot of unique apparel when we order, and it's a collective event. We don't have just one person ordering, so you're not going to find one style in here. It's a huge variety. All of us kind of put our 2 cents in on what we like with different brands.
You have a big buyer's meeting?
Well, I mean, while we're here, or when I go to shows, I'm always texting them pictures and you know, seeing. But we do carry a lot of Italian silk. It's the washable Italian silk, which is really nice.
Now, does that mean that it maybe wrinkles a little bit less? Because I know in Florida, a lot of the material, like you go outside and linen, and if you're sweating, just forget about it.
I hate linen. I mean, some people have asked, but
I love linen as long as it stays looking ironed.
Now, exactly. Now, we do have a lot of items that look like linen, but they're actually cotton, and so they wear much better. They don't have that stretch.
Well, the cotton's not going to make you sweat either.
Yeah, and with linen, as you know, you sit down in a pair of pants, you're going to get that butt.
And I've already got a butt, so yes.
Yeah, so these are much nicer, and they wear much better, and we try and get a lot of clothes that like this is that are out of Miami. We like local designers.
They're like little rompers.
Yeah.
And what I love about rompers, because I used to do a lot of traveling, I always had rompers with me because they to me were like the little black dress.
Yeah.
Like all I needed was earrings, a romper, and flops, and like I'm set.
Yeah, and you can dress it up with heels. You can do anything.
You can dress it up just even with the jewelry.
Exactly.
This is a romper, in fact.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Yes, and I'll actually give a shout out to Elizabeth Corrigan, my best friend of 100 years, and this was hers, and then she had twins, and she said, I'm not gonna be able to wear it anymore with twins.
I love that.
So so this is exactly why I bought it, because it's like this, it's a romper. Okay, so we only have a couple of minutes.
Sure.
As the team just made us aware. Okay, so what are the hours of your store? Because I want people to know that this is in Legacy Place, which is down near. This is Palm Beach. Well, I meant like the area because people are used to me doing interviews in Jupiter. So this is more down by the mall area.
Yeah, across from the Gardens Mall.
Okay, Capitol Grill.
Exactly, and we're right in between Gelato Grotto and the Great Greek, which is amazing food. They're pretty new, so.
Okay, so you go have some dinner with the Greeks, and then you come back.
Exactly.
And,
we have that a lot. A lot of people who do that. They'll go order and come in here.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a ton of different stuff. We have bags.
And what are your hours? That's the one thing with stores is the hours are
7 days a week.
Wow, so that's because if you go to Del Rey, everything closes by like 4 or 5.
No,
so you guys
we are open. We are open.
7 days.
Monday through Friday from 11 to 7. Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 7. We are open till 8 o'clock on Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And Saturday we're 10 to 7, and then Sunday we are open 11 to 5.
Okay.
But all of our hours are available online at oceansallure.com.
And I'll share all of the links because she has a Facebook and Instagram and all of that.
Yeah,
so I'll make sure and I'll share that as well. And then you're going to send me some pictures too.
Sure.
Of your before and after.
Oh,
and then if you want to send me some
God,
pictures.
it's going to be hilarious.
From your craziest, if you want to send me some pictures from the boat show.
Oh, oh my
Because
gosh.
again,
I don't know if you could air those. They get a little crazy.
They get a little crazy.
Yes.
What happens at the boat show stays at the boat show. It's one of those.
Yeah.
All right, well, Monique, thank you so much, and I'm so glad that I got to do this because this is the thing. Like, I want people to see the people behind these stores because there are so many fabulous stores out there. And what's unique about your store is the fact that there's not that too many stores that you can walk into where somebody can say, "I'm here as the owner." That's number one. I don't live like in New York or somewhere else, and that you actually had, the sense to do all the art of this. And then you just expanded from there. So, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, well,
So, badass boss lady, and it's, I'm going to nominate you right now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you so much. Well, we love it. We love being here, and we love everything about the community, and that's our biggest thing,
For sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in. And next week, we're going to have Alessandra, and we're going to have Andy, and it's going to be the first panel I'm doing ever that's going to be about health, fitness, and wellness. Okay? So everybody have a great day. Always on 3, I do besito, so you can do whatever you would like. Besito! That's to all my Spanish family.
Oh, that's great.